welcome to this episode of Pen Rambling. My name is Agnes. So this week we are going to talk about something more of the stainless steel nib versus the gold nib of the same company. So I have quite 6 brand of pen that is in stainless steel and in gold nib version. So I'm going to talk about what is more worth it. Of course, most of the time will be the stainless steel, but should you get the gold nib version too or not, or to pass it. So in front of you I have TWSBI doesn't have gold nib, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the Eco version with the 580 version. And then I have the most fair comparison, which is the Vanishing Point. One of them is in gold nib, the other one is in the special alloy, which we can say that it is a stainless steel version, a steel version. And then we have from the same main company, one is Faber Castell, one is Graphone Faber Castell, which is the luxury, and this is the more like the standard. And then Sailor, so the stainless steel and the gold nib. Platinum, Profonte, and the 3776. And then for Pilot, I have these three. So the Metro, Custom 74, and the Kakuno. Okay, let's move this one out of the way. Let's start with the first one. The Diamond 580 with the Eco. Now this version is the rose gold version. This one is the clear Eco, not the Eco T. Alright, so would I choose the 580 or the Eco? You can say that if you opt for the looks of the pen, where the nibs come second, then 580 version will have a lot more choice for you to choose. But not to say that you don't have a lot of choice for Eco T. Even Eco T have a number of choice. Like recently they come up with the glow in the dark version, where I seen a lot of people got their hand on it. So because this is Eco is quite the affordable line, so some of us prefer to collect the the Eco version, where you can have one pen for each nib. Now the downside of it is because 580 TWSBI have a replacement nib unit, means that you can get a few of different sizes of nib unit and then switch it up if you please. But for special edition, maybe it won't match the rest of the body. Whereby for Eco or Eco T, the nib doesn't they don't have replacement nib unit. So the choice that you can do is either you buy TWSBI Go or TWSBI Swipe, and then because that one is more cheaper, more inexpensive, then you can have them in different sizes, a number of pens in different sizes, if you wish to choose. If you wish to do that, if you don't like I said, 580 Eco, both of them have a lot of options. Now between these two, which one would I prefer? Now all this while I love my Eco T that is in lime color. If I remember, I'll link the writing therapy there, because one, I already adjusted it so that it is quite wet, plus it's smoother. And I think smoother because when I got it with that nib, it's already in the preferred smoothness that I like. Whereas for the two 580 that I got, even with the replacement unit, I still need to smooth it out over the micro mesh. No, that one will be the mylar paper. Okay, so I need to smooth it out. So for aesthetic, I would prefer 580, but for the enjoyment writing experience, I would prefer the eco version. Plus, almost 2 eco version, you can get 1.5 of the 580, or even 1 of the 580 if you get the special edition. So that would be my choice. Of all the pens that I mentioned here, if you have them, which one would be your choice? Okay, next, I'm gonna leave the Vanishing Point to the last because those are the most fair comparison that I can do. Let's do the Pilot. Okay, Pilot. Let's do it like this. Okay, Pilot. The most common model that people will either get is either the Kakuno, the Metro, or the Custom 74. Of course, there are a lot of model in Pilot. Pilot is a very known stationery company, right? So if you're just starting out in Pilot world or even fountain pen world, even Kakuno is a very nice nib to write with. The downside is it only comes to medium, which is equivalent to fine nib on some Western pen. Now, because some of us, those who are starting out, maybe just came from ballpoint, so medium seems to be like a perfect transition before you start to go up nib sizes, or you prefer to go down in a finer line width. So this is a very nice nib to write. Even all the steel nib in Pilot is actually very nice to write. Now you go up to the gold nib, is even nicer to write with. A lot of people who started with their gold nib journey, either they get the Platinum 3776 or they get the Pilot Custom 74. So actually there are people who prefer the Pilot, there are people who prefer the Platinum. So what would you make to buy? Which one would I suggest? Now if you're budget conscious, you're not you want nib experience, a nice nib experience starting out, or you want to be have it easy going, I would suggest either the Kakuno, which is the relative cheaper version, which is around 50 ringgit something cent if you get the one with the cleaning something, a set. Or if you're going to get alone, now they have a new model, which is the like the family model with the father, mother, brother, sister, and that one. It's a very nice color some more. This is the Kaweco clip, so it doesn't come with the clip. It's a little bit childish, so if you don't want to look childish, you want to look more professional without spending too much, you can go for this, which is the Metro. Now this Metro that I have is the MR version. There are depending on the region that you are, you may get a little bit different version where the name is actually the same, just the converter part. See, I need to just the converter part, it may have a little bit different, where you may not be able to use all the con 70, the con 20 something of that. I hate Pilot converter system. Okay, so that is depending on your region, but as I said, Pilot nib is a very nice nib to start off with, and I recommend that if you don't want to blow your budget, you still want to keep it relatively cheap, then this too is a very good option to go to. Now, the gold nib, if you really like gold nib, you want an extra luxury type of nib writing experience, of course, go ahead and buy Custom 74, which is the entry level of Pilot's gold nib. It is almost the same size as each other, if I can get them focused. Okay, and then the upgrade would be like almost seamless. So you have a better, this one is much more pleasant to write than the steel nib in terms of its bounciness, the bounciness that people always mention. Do I have ink in here? Yeah. So if you use it's really nice to write, and it is less feedbacky compared to like platinum, which I'm going to show you later on. So Pilot is either way you won't go wrong. If you're budget conscious, then you choose the steel version. If you're gold nib, you prefer gold nib, then custom 74 won't be a disappointment. Right, next let's go with a Faber Castell. Now the one that I have here is Faber Castell Loom in, I forgot what color, with Intuition from Graphon Faber Castell. Now these two, although it looks like it's a different company, it's actually on the same, just one luxury, one is a standard one. Now Faber Castell is very known for its good nib. So if I was to choose Faber Castell, I would choose the stainless steel version. This one, it gave me a trouble. If you go back to see my older one, I'll maybe link them above here, that I have to return the faulty Intuition back to Faber Castell, have them replaced with another unit. So this is the replacement unit already. It is also a very nice nib, smooth, everything, but between those two, actually Loom is already worth the price. That's my opinion. Alright, let's go for Sailor. Steel versus the gold nib. So between these two, because this is MF and I'm not very keen on MF at all, so I don't really like the MF on the nib. Maybe there is other, I think, because if you go up like Le Cool or the other version, it has medium nib, but because I got MF and it's really, for me, it's like fine but not going to extra fine. It's there and it's quite dry, so I'm not very keen on this MF, but I love my Sailor Pro Gear Slim after I tune it a little bit. Now it's a little bit more smooth and it does have some sort of stubbiness to it. Let's see if it's ink. No. So I love the gold nib for this one. Second last, because I have my Vanishing Point there, is the 3776 and the Profonte. The more upgrade version of this is Place, the one that is in aluminium, but the nib is quite different for the two of them. Okay, so can you see that? Platinum actually had the gold nib that is in this shape, but I don't have it. I have the other version, which is the 3776. Now between these two, because this nib, if you see between these two, it's like baby and father. Okay, so I'm not very liking the nib on the steel version, but I prefer the one in the 3776. So if you like the shorter distance between the tip of the nib to the grip section, if you like it, then go for it. But between this one and the Kakuno, I would prefer the Kakuno, because the distance between the nib, there is a little bit of difference. Can you see that? This is more like brother and baby sister. That's why I'm not very like keen on this one. It's still a lovely pen. There's nothing wrong with it, just the distance from the paper to the tip to the grip section, it is not my preferred length. That's all. And then that's why I prefer 3776. Now between 3776 and custom 74. If I was to say for a long comfort section, I would prefer 3776 because of this. Can you see the distance? Just a tiny bit longer. But if I want to do some smoother and always reliable, this too is actually great. And I can tell you that the nib, if I want a finer version of medium, I'll go for the 3776. If I prefer a little bit of wider medium, I'll go for my custom 74. Both of them is actually a very good medium nib, especially if you get the one that's in this trim, the silver or rhodium trim. The one that is in a gold color trim, the yellow gold color trim, that one is actually more stiffer and more feedbacky in the fine and the medium size. If you go up to broad, it's a little less feedbacky, but some of us may like that one. Last, between these two, actually I couldn't decide which one do I prefer. But if you want a good writing experience between the two, Vanishing Point, actually this is the second pilot, the two Vanishing Point, I would say that the special alloy is actually enough for you to experience a good writing experience, because as I mentioned, Pilot is actually very good with their nib. Some of us transition from the ballpoint to roller gel or something like that to fountain pen. Using Pilot is actually a little less shocking compared to if you start to use the other, like 3776, this one. You may have to adjust more compared to Pilot, transition from to Pilot. So between these two, actually you are good enough with this one, the stainless steel version or the special alloy version. But if you have the money to splurge, why not try the 18 karat gold of Pilot? Now this two is a little bit different, because this is the 14, this is the 18. The 18 is even more bouncier. It's very hard to describe this thing unless you go and try it yourself. Really, it's like I'm eating cookies. Some people will prefer the cookies that's less sweet, more chocolatey, but some people will prefer like it's more less chocolatey, more creamy, that sort of thing. So how is my recommendation? Do you have any of these in both versions, and which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comment section down below. Alright, so that's all for my pen rambling this week. So I hope to see you again in the coming pen rambling. Until then, take care and bye bye.